Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anthony from the Corona Chamber of Commerce, and I want to say congratulations for being here. You guys really, this is going to be a fun and informative seminar regarding government contracting and bidding. So on behalf of the Chamber, I just want to give you just a few announcements. Make sure to, if you have any questions whatsoever, please put them in the chat box. You can direct them to me or any of the other speakers. We will do our best to try to answer them live. However, if for whatever reason we do not see them, we will have a Q&A session at the end. Also, if you are not speaking, please mute yourself as we do not want, or as we are going to try to limit the background noise as much as possible. So thank you guys so much for being here, and I will pass it over to Jessica.
Excellent. Thank you, Anthony, and welcome everyone. It's always a pleasure for us to bring topics of interest to our business community. I am the Economic Development Director here at the City of Corona, and I want to thank especially today the Inland Empire Procurement Technical Assistance Center, also the Corona Chamber of Commerce for being our host and partnering with us on this event. And then also Combustion Associates. We have a speaker that will be sharing their ways that they are utilizing this great resource of government contracting to aid their operations. Next slide, please. Just at first glance, I want to share with you what makes Corona such a dynamic business destination. As you can see here on your screen, we have over 170,000 residents that call Corona home. We also have over 12,000 businesses that are operating within our city boundaries and a robust labor force of over 84,000 individuals. Over here on the right side of the screen, you can see our geographic advantages. Essentially, Corona is located at the nexus of major counties and transportation corridors. This allows more than 12,000 businesses here to be able to tap into a regional labor force to be able to easily transport their goods, services, and also, of course, to have wider access throughout these counties to be able to grow their operations effectively. So these are a few of the reasons that make up here in Corona. So if you're an existing business in Corona, we want you to know that you are in a thriving destination. If you are outside of Corona and want to contemplate, explore why you should be located here, expand your operations, we do encourage you to reach out to us and learn more about what makes Corona a competitive location. Next slide. One of the key things that we take pride in is that we have ample resource offerings. And this is made possible through the various partnerships that we've been able to cultivate and enhance. Partnerships like the one today with the Chamber of Commerce and Inland Empire Procurement Technical Assistance Center, Ptac. These partnerships with the variety of folks that you see here on the screen, the logos represented here of these organizations, allow us to provide our business community, our entrepreneurs, with business mentorship, counseling, access to financing and capital, specialized topic education like today's topic, and also support with employee hiring and training. You're an existing business and want to learn how we can help you with not only screening of candidates, but also how to get reimbursed when you are bringing on new hires. Please contact us. My team will be putting our contact information in the chat, but we look forward to sharing with you how this robust network of partnerships makes all of these collective offerings possible. Next slide. One specific program that we have here in Corona, it's called the Corona Manufacturing Assistance Program. Essentially, 12 agencies came together this past January to be able to provide one of our key industry sectors, our manufacturers, over 400 located here in our city, with collective offerings, everything with hiring and training of their employees, to understanding how to get patents for their technologies, to be able also to understand how to streamline their operations. We want you to take advantage of this if you are a manufacturer. And then, of course, manufacturers, we also know, have needs for government contracting, and so we are happy to be able to share that information with you today. Next slide. So through our collective offerings I shared with you previously, we can help you with hiring and training, technical expertise. One of our partners is able to go in, do an assessment, how to be able to more effectively run your operations, how to reduce those bottom line costs. And then, of course, we offer webinars and trainings throughout the year. If you are a manufacturer, would like to learn more, or if you are a business that is looking to expand the offerings, the knowledge that you have, we do encourage you to contact us. at our email included there on your screen. Next slide. And of course, because today the topic is how to do business with Corona and the various branches of government, we want to be able to share with you some key guidance and information on this front. So I will invite Ashley Zaragoza, who is our business administrator, economic development administrator, to share a few insights with you.
Okay, thank you, Jessica. So good afternoon, everyone. As Jessica said, my name is Ashley Zaragoza, and I want to discuss what are the ways that you can do business with Corona, of course, looking at that local engagement. So the city has a variety of regular bidding and proposal opportunities, which are posted on the city website. So you can go to coronaca.gov/purchasing. We recommend interested vendors visit this website and register to the city's electronic bidding portal. So that's where you can register on Planet Bids, which is really great for those large scale opportunities and proposals that you can do. The vendors that register will receive email notices when a new request for bid or proposal relevant to their line of business is issued. You can also register through the Corona Supplier Directory registration form. So this is another great way when individuals in the city are looking to receive some services, materials, whatever the case may be. This is where they look to and make sure that they're able to get vendors that are approved. Finally, the City of Corona actually has, again, supporting local businesses, the Local Bidder Preference Program. So essentially, this is where they will reduce about 5% of the tabulation of whatever that proposal will be, because oftentimes being in government, there has to be a look towards what the lowest cost is, but also what's going to most meet the needs of the city. And so this program is really great because it encourages and makes that competitive edge with the local bidders in the area. To qualify for this, you must be a local business with fixed facilities with one or more employees at an address within the city limits and a city business license. For more information, we're going to actually put that in the chat as well. We recommend that you reach out to our purchasing division. They can be reached at purchasing@coronaca.gov. We'll also include their phone number in the chat. So that concludes my segment. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you, Ashley. Next slide. Both our contact information is there, and we'll of course put it in the chat as well. And I see that Amanda from our team has already put helpful links in the chat. So we do encourage you to take a look if you're interested in doing business with Corona. Next slide. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Julie Padilla, who is the director of the Inland Empire Procurement Technical Assistance Center. She has extensive experience helping businesses to be able to navigate and position themselves to competitively offer their products, services to various branches of government at the local, state, and federal level. Dr. Padilla, we turn it over to you, and thank you for participating.
Thank you very much, Jessica. Thank you to the team from the City of Corona, Amanda, Ashley, and the Corona Chamber of Commerce to allow us and provide information about government contracting. So this is a three-part series. So today, this is our first presentation, and we are going to talk about what is needed for you to start doing business with the government. So before we start with the presentation, I want to introduce Susie Myers. She is our procurement specialist. She will be helping me during this presentation today and handling some questions that come through the chat. So Susie, if you can say hi to the attendees.
Hi, everyone. It's nice to see you here and so great to be part of this collaboration. And also nice to see some of our clients attending. So this is a great opportunity, and I will share our contact information in chat. If you guys have any questions that you want to direct just to us, Ptac, then feel free to direct it to me and I will answer during Julie's presentation.
Thank you, Susie. So before we get started, just for me to get to know how many of you have already some kind of a knowledge, or if you're doing government contract, if you can go in the chat and you can let me know if you are new. So if you're new, just say yes to government contract or give me an emoji, because I cannot see everybody on the screen. But if you send me an emojis, then I can get a good sense in how you're doing. So let's see, what do we have? Are you new to government contract? I see yes, new. Awesome. Well, this is going to be great. You're going to get a lot of good information. So let's get started. As Jessica mentioned, I'm Julianne Santana Padilla. I'm the director for the Ptac, the Procurement Technical Assistance Center. And what the Ptac is, we provide assistance to businesses on getting government contracts. It could be with the federal government, state, or local. And when we talk about local government, we're talking about cities, counties, school districts. So our program, the Ptac, Procurement Technical Assistance Center, is funded by the Department of Defense and is administered by the Defense Logistic Agency. So the way that we provide our assistance is through one-on-one meetings and also training related to government contracting. We also have a service called bid matching service. So this bid matching is only available for our clients. What that means is that you're going to get an email notification with the opportunities that relate to the products or services that your company provides. So here are some of the topics that we cover about government contracting. Government contracting is huge, right? So it doesn't matter where you're at, we can assist you in the different phases on the government contracting area. So from the basic and getting registered, getting the certifications, and doing market research, identifying who's buying your products and services, how to market to the different agencies or departments in the government, understanding how the procurement process works. And once you identify an opportunity, we can help you understand that document, the solicitation, and we can also review your offer or proposal before you submit it. And if you are lucky you got an award, we can also assist you on contract management and getting paid through different government portals. So what are the requirements for you to become a client of Ptac? You need to have a business already established. Your business has to be located on Riverside or San Bernardino counties. You need to have a minimum of 25K in sales in the private sector or government, and a customer base that can demonstrate that you have the expertise and the past performance on your area. We also send a survey, so we ask you to respond to those two surveys. One is for you to let us know how we are providing our services, and the other one is for you to let us know if you got any contract as a result of any of our assistance through the one-on-one meetings or training. All of our services are free. So if you wanna become a client of us, here is our contact information. And I think Susie also is sharing our contact through the chat. Our office is located in downtown Riverside. Right now it's closed to the public. We are conducting all of our services through Zoom. But if you have any question, please feel free to contact us and we will guide you in what will be the next step. So with that, I just want to do a quick pause just to make sure that to answer any question about the Ptac services, if there's any. How we are doing. I know it's just right after lunch. So do we need some coffee? Where are we at? So send me some emojis so I know how you're doing. You're good to start? Are you ready for it? Awesome. Thank you. So let's start it. So government contracting, the basics. So why learning about government contract? So one of the things that you have to realize is that the way that you do business with the government is totally different in the way that you're going to do business with the commercial or private sector. So in the government, there's regulations. The process, the acquisition process is regulated. There's competition. They may ask you, depending on the type of contract that you get, a cost breakdown. They may even ask you for disclosure of your customers and special agreements that you have with your customers, operational systems, and you have to follow labor laws, and you can get audits on your contract. So government contracts, the benefit is that you can diversify your business and you can increase your sales through government contract. So here is the snapshot of government contracts. This is the federal government in 2018, where they have 554 trillions in government contracts. And from those, 54 billions of them went to the state of California. So this is a brief snapshot. Is what it's telling you is that there's a lot of opportunities for everybody. So it's just a matter of understanding how to identify those opportunities and how you can participate. So when you get started with government contract, there's two terms that are really, really important that you have to keep in mind. One is to be responsive and the other one is responsible. Actually, these two terms are part of the Federal Acquisition Regulation, which is the big book where all the acquisition process for the federal government is regulated. So what does that mean? What is responsive? So when we talk about responsive, it refers that you follow the instruction, as simple as that. So it's that you did your homework, you read the entire solicitation, and then that you follow the instructions. And then responsibility means that you did an assessment to make sure that you can perform that contract. So here an example about responsiveness. So that you submitted it on time to the correct location, all your sections are completed and correct, that you follow any page limitation if they have any, if you have to sign it. Now everything is moving to electronic documents, but if there's any signature, make sure you sign those documents. It's just following all those instructions that they give you in the solicitation. And sometimes, you know, just because of a simple requirement of the size font that they can tell you the maximum is 12, then if you didn't follow that, they can just disqualify you from competition. So we don't want that to happen. So you just make sure that you read the entire solicitation. And here is a little bit more example about responsibility and doing that assessment to making sure that you can perform the contract. So do you have those financial resources which allows you to perform the entire contract? Most of them you get paid after you deliver the product or you perform the services. Do you have that capital to be able to perform without getting paid through the entire process? Comply with delivery, have prior satisfactory performance, good record of integrity. Do you have the equipment? Do you have the personnel? All of those areas. So with that, taking in consideration, you know, the responsibility and the responsiveness, so we suggest that before you start looking at the solicitations, you need to first do an assessment about your business. What are the capabilities on your assessment to be able to perform on a government contract? So we are going to talk about these three main areas, which is the operational, financial, and the competitive area. We're going to go through each of the sections, and then we're going to give you an example about those areas and how they relate to the government contracts. So let's start with the operational. So you're going to look into your business in the operational area. And the area that we want to highlight, you know, is, for example, do you already have a business plan? That's kind of a business 101, you know, having that business plan. Do you have all the resources, the human, the staff for you to be able to perform contract? Do you have all the licenses, permits, insurance? Do you have SOP, the standard operation procedures in place? Do you have already a relationship with your suppliers? So because once you sign that contract, you are committed to perform or to deliver the specific products. So here is an example about the operational capabilities. This is snapshots from different solicitations where they talk about those operational aspects. For example, the one that you see on the top is that the contractor shall be responsible for obtaining all necessary permits and licenses and for complying with all applicable federal, state, and municipal laws. If you look at the other one, it's talking about the license as well. And then in the other one, if you're in the construction industry, having those contractors bonds, they will tell you what is the percentage and what type of bonds they're requiring in that specific solicitation. And then the last one that you see at the bottom, they're asking you to submit a professional compensation plan for your employees. So again, depends on the different contracts or the different agencies that you want to do business with. They have those basic requirements that once you're looking at the opportunity, we don't want you to stop and then go back to those basic aspects of your business and then getting these things done. What we are trying to do is to create awareness about this basic area so you can work on that before you start looking at the actual opportunities. The next one is the financial area. Do you have the financial statements? Do you have an accounting systems? And when we talk about accounting systems, there's not in a specific software that you need to have. What we do suggest is that you have to learn a little bit more about what are those reportings that the government will be asking you to create, and you want to make sure that your accounting system can create those type of reportings. Yeah, you have all the payrolls, file all the documents that you have to file with the government and payroll. Sales, that you have a record of your sales and all the information, and then you are and with the taxes, that you don't have any federal debt. So here are some examples of financial capabilities. So in the first one, it's a gather your company financial statement for the previous 2 years, and you have to provide that information. And the other one is asking you to provide information about the sales for the last 12 months. And also based on the previous month sales, you will have to do projections for the next 12 months as well. And then the one that you have at the bottom, this is a snapshot from a system. It's from the federal government. It's the System for Award Management, also known as SAM, S-A-M. So once you get registered on that system, they run your information through different federal computers, and they identify if there's any federal debt. Having a federal debt will affect the possibilities for you to get a federal government contracts. And then in here, we have another example about the accounting system. And this is the federal government. They need to complete a pre-award survey for the accounting system. So even the federal government, they have a checklist of what are all those type of reporting that your accounting system should be able to perform. And that's something that you can download, you can go over and determine if you do have what they call an acceptable accounting system. And all that information about how to get those resources, you can contact Susie or myself, and then we can assist you through the one-on-one meeting. Okay. So then the other area that we suggest that you look into your business is the competitive. And I think this is one of the hard area that our clients are challenged in determine what are those areas that makes them different from their competitors. So we suggest that you look at different areas. It could be the quality, flexibility, delivery, the design, prices. Maybe you have better competitive prices. Do you have any product innovation or process innovations? What can you offer to the government that is unique from your business? So here are some of the examples. So in one of the solicitation, they're looking at a specific quality standards, and they say, okay, you should have this and this and these quality standards. So if you have those in place, that could set you apart from your competitors. Describe your company's internal communication systems. That's something that also you should have available in terms of your SOP, the standard operation procedures, in how those systems work within your organization to make sure that you can provide quality services and quality products. And then the one at the bottom, this is just a screenshot from an area from the federal government where you can search for the different rates that the other companies are providing to the federal government based on positions or titles. So this is give you an idea where you can do an analysis about if your prices are competitive for the federal market. And then the last thing on your assessment, you want to have some kind of a survey or a system where you can review your process and see what areas you can improve. You want to make sure that you have a continual improvement process in place, and that you can measure, report on it, so that way you can increase your competitiveness when you're looking to the government contract. So with that, that is the assessment in how you can determine what areas you need to work on or what you already have in place. So in getting those areas, if you need assistance, we can refer you to one of our partners that they are focused on business development. We only provide government contracting, which is what we're going to talk about from this point forward. So, so we just hope that the information provided before can help you to determine where you're at, what things you have to work on, so you can start working on your government contracting area. So with that, I'm gonna pause another for a second, just to know if you have any question about the assessment before we get started with the government contracting. And if you don't even have a question, just let me know how you're doing. Did I lost you already, or where are you at? You can give me the emoji with the brain that's blowing up. What's going on? Let's see. It sounds complicated. I know, Manny, it sounds complicated, but guess what? It's not as complicated as it sounds. And the great news is that Susie and I can help you through the entire process. We can take you, face by face on a one-on-one meeting. So I suggest that you contact us and we can help you, and you will see that it's not as intimidating, overwhelming, or complicated as it may look. Okay, so then I guess we're ready to continue. So government contracting, what you can see here is, as I mentioned before, in our services, you can see from the basic all the way after you get an award. So to get started, the first thing you want to do, and we're going to talk a little bit more in detail on our second webinar, that is going to be on November 4th. We're going to go through the more detail in how to complete those process. But right now, we want to give you kind of a snapshot so you have an idea of the areas that you will be working on. So the first thing you're going to do is you have to identify the different codes. And something that you have to realize is, for example, that the state has its own procedures, its own codes. The federal government has its own codes as well. The county use different codes. So something that we suggest when you're looking at government contracting is, first, one maybe is identify with which one you want to start with. And then once you get kind of a better idea in how it works, you can expand to the other level of government contracts. Or if you're going to tackle the three of them, you need to have a really good organizational skills, because you need to keep track everything that it goes under each of the categories, right? One for the federal government, one for the state, and the other one for the local governments. So identifying the code sounds simple, but they're very, very important in the entire process that you see over here. Why is that? Because if you identify the incorrect code, then you're going to lose opportunities, right? So we have seen that depending on the services that you provide, the codes could turn to be a little bit general and not that specific that describe your services. And then when we do market research to see how the government is buying your services, they're using a whole entire different code. So if you are not looking at the code that the government is using, you most likely are missing the opportunities that they're posting for those services. So that's why we suggest that you spend a little bit of time on identifying those codes. The other thing about the codes is that you don't need to only have one, you can have multiple codes. So as many codes that you can identify is good, because it's going to help you to look at different areas of your services on the government contract. However, sometimes having too many, it could be a red flag. And the times that we see a red flag is when the codes doesn't relate at all of the industry, within industry. And let me just give you an example. Maybe you have a code that it says that you do landscaping, but then if you add me a code that you do, I don't know, that you are a baker and you do baking, and then you have another code that you do leadership training skills. I don't know, it could be all over the places, and then what it's going to create is going to create confusion to the person that is going to see your profile and say, well, what are they good at? How they can do all of these different things and they could be good. So it could be a red flag. So just be aware of when you identify those codes. Then the same with I'm going to go and click on my basic here. So the same with the certifications, and the certifications, there's different type of certifications. It's all depend who you want to do business with. State has its own certifications. The federal government has its own. And then the cities, county, they have the local programs for small businesses that you can take advantage of too. So you want to make sure that you keep track of those certifications and also identify the ones that really are going to help you to be more competitive on government contracts. And the reason that I'm saying that is because, let me see if I can move to, yes. Is because, for example, here's the menu, here's the list of all certifications. So you see federal government, they have a lot of certifications. And then you have the state, they only have 2 certifications. And then from the Department of Transportation, there's one certification, which is the DBE, that is a federal certification, but it's used on the state level. So, the example I was going to give you is, for example, you're a woman-owned And then you said, oh, I can be a woman-owned, and then I can be the woman-owned small business, and I can be economically disadvantaged woman-owned small business. So you're just going with a checklist of everything you think you can fit your business on. So what happened if, for example, those certifications for the one that it's a woman-owned small business, WOSB and EDWOSB, they only pertain to specific codes. So if your business is not under one of those codes, it's not going to do anything for your business. There's not going to be an opportunity that is set aside for WOSB or EDWOSB under your code, because that code doesn't belong to the program. So that's why we recommend that you really understand all the different certifications, which one you really need, and they're going to help you on government contracts. And there's a lot of it there. And again, I'm going to repeat it throughout the entire presentation. We can help you with that. We go one by one. We can help you. We can screen share and see that help you completing the online application and making sure that submit your support documentation as well. I'm going back to here. There's also the business opportunities. There's different website portals that you can look for those opportunities. In the next slide, I have listed the one for the federal government and also for the state. And something that we suggest is that you keep track of all your login, users and password, all the codes, all the registrations, and all the certifications. The reason of that is because when you are approaching a government representative, if you, for example, I'm going to bring this back. If you're going to talk to someone from the state and you let them know that you are DVOSB, which is the Disabled Veteran Owned Small Business, they're going to say, which certification is that? Because they're not going to recognize, because you're telling them a federal certification, that's not a state certification. So mixing the information from one from another one, and when you're talking with the representative, it can make you look like you are not sure or not correct on the information you're providing to them. So in order for you to really keep their attention, you want to make sure that everything that you're talking to that government representative, it relates to them. So keep track of everything that you are doing on government contracts. Okay. So how we are doing so far? Susie, do we still have attendees here? Okay, still good.
Yeah,
Thank
good.
you, Jay.
We do. We still have attendees, and I did want to say that you suggesting that they keep a list of their certifications as they move on through government contracting, it'll make more sense, because there are a lot of certifications available in different agencies. And also one thing, Julie, that you didn't mention was that the local governments, like the city, will ask you, are you minority owned, woman owned? So they will ask you for the socioeconomic makeup of the owners of when you register as a vendor, of the owners of the business.
Yes, that's true. Local government, it's different as well. Okay, so then let's move forward. So we talk about those basic, and then once you have those basic, you want to find out who is buying your products and services. We are huge on market research. Susie loves market research. I love market research because we do feel that this is what is going to tell you which path you should continue and how to do it and how to do all of this government contract. On market research, you can find out so much information. The data that is available is insane. So what we do with you on a one-on-one meeting, we have a system in place that we work on different phases in doing market research. And at the end of that system, you basically have a marketing plan in how to go by and do business with the specific government entities. So what are the information you can get out of the market research? So who's buying your product and services, how often they're buying those products and services, and who is getting those contracts. You want to know who are your competitors. I suggest that as soon as you know your competitors, that's part of your market research. You have to do a competitors analysis, which is identify their strength and weakness and then compare to yours. And that way you can identify what you can do better, and you're going to use that on your marketing strategy. You can see how they are doing, what type of procurement they're doing for those products and services as well, and when it's going to be the next time that they're going to procure those products and services as well. Okay, so let's go back here. After the market research, then you are going to do your marketing, and one of the main resources that you work or you have available is a capability statement. Capability statement is like a business resume. And I'm going to show you, skip over here. I'm going to show you how it looks like. It's not longer than 2 pages. It has specific format, a specific information you're going to share about your business. This is not the same as a flyer. This is totally different. And this is what you're going to give to any government representative. Most likely the first encounter that you have with them, they're going to ask you for that capability statement, and you want to have it ready. Because if not, you're going to lose momentum and they're going to forget about you. We can help you develop the capability statement. Once you have a draft, we can review it and give you our feedback so you can improve that capability statement as well. On the marketing, you may we suggest that you need to you want to have a website. Sometimes getting information in the registrations, it doesn't give them the full picture about your business. So there's a lot of buyers that they go and click on your link for your website to see and get a better understanding about your business. So you want to make sure that website is accessible and it has the information that they're looking for. Business cards, the dynamic small business search is a different website. It's an SBA website. This is only for federal government. Sources sought is a market research. The federal government, they do perform market research. And what exactly that means is that they put a notification out there and they say, hey, how many of you can provide this type of services? And the reason that they do that market research, or one of the main reasons, is that they want to know the socioeconomic groups that are out there. So they have a rule of 2. If there is 2 or more women-owned, then they probably can set aside the opportunity for women-owned. The same for the other certifications in the federal government, Hubsan 8A, SDVOSB, which is the Service to Civil Vets. And then meetings. Having meetings, they're very, very effective in having those capabilities presentation as well. So we suggest that you look into all these different resources that you can do marketing to the government. Then we have the procurement, and I think we are running almost out of time, but we're almost there. On the procurement, this is the boring part, kind of, but you know, it's necessary. You have to learn it. You're gonna see them from the first time that you complete a registration. There's regulations there. You need to get familiar with what exactly those regulations means. What are you committing to? Your contracts will have regulations as well, part of the terms and conditions. So understanding the procurement process, acquisition process, what type of procurements the government use can help you in understanding how to shift this marketing efforts for you to get government contracts, and also in how to respond to the opportunities as well. And then let me see if I have, and then, so this is a screenshot about the federal government. They have the Federal Acquisition Regulation System. This is what established the policies and procedure. But, you know, to make it more fun, there's not just the FAR, there's also supplement to the FAR, which means that, for example, the Department of Defense, they have a supplement to the FAR. So it's the FAR plus the FARs, which is Defense Federal Acquisition Regulation. And the same happened with the Army, the Navy, they have supplements as well. So it's just understanding that, but I'm not even going to talk too much about that because then I'm going to lose everybody here. We are here, so when you have a question about the FAR regulations, terms and conditions, we will help you navigate that. And then the last one is the post award. So this is after you get your contract. You want to make sure, you know, after you get the award, you know, your job doesn't end over there. So you still have to manage that contract, make sure that you are meeting everything that you said in that proposal or in that offer that you were going to do, that you have, if it's reportings, inspections, whatever it is that was part of your contract, everything has to be done. And you need to exceed the expectations that they had from the document, from the document to the performance. Because at least in the federal government, it's evaluated your past performance and you get scores, and you get that could be a determination for you to continue getting government contracts. And I think with that, that led us to the end of to the end of our presentation. So I'm going to take the quick questions before we go to our next presenter. So let's see how you guys are doing.
We're doing good.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so again, I know I gave you a lot of information. You know, it's just to tell you that yes, there's quite a steps to go through, but you have us to support you through the entire process. So feel free to contact us. We will be more than happy to help you to navigate this process. So I don't see any other question, but Susie, is there any question you saw in the chat that I missed?
No, I have answered pretty much most of them, and there were questions that people had questions about becoming a client. And actually, we're seeing some of our clients who we haven't seen in a few years that you probably know everybody. So it's really nice to that they're here and showing interest, and they know that if they have, I just shared our calendars. So if they are already a client of ours, I said, just, you know, go ahead and schedule a meeting. We can answer anything that any questions they have. Let's see what it says here. And we're good.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Susie. So with that, then I want to introduce our next speaker is Preeti Chandan. So she is, and I'm going to stop my share so she can share her screen. In the meantime, I'm going to read her bio. Preeti Chandan is a proposal manager for Corona, California-based Combustion Association, Inc., CAI. She is also responsible for reviewing government solicitation lists on a daily basis and highlighting relevant opportunities for technical review and bid, no bid decisions. She liaises with government contracting officers on the company's behalf, and she has been with CAI for nearly 6 years. So with that, I want to take it over, Pretty. Thank you very much for being this afternoon.
Hi, Julie, thank you so much for that intro and for that excellent presentation. It was so packed with valuable information and guidance. I remember I've attended your classes and workshops and I've learned a lot from them. And many of the resources and plans that you have talked about in your presentation, we use them routinely and they serve us really well. So thank you very much for that. I am I'm slightly struggling, although I sort of tried this previously. I can't seem to see the window that I need to present to you. I am in the share mode and I somehow can't see it.
Yeah, I think there's a click for other. If you have multiple windows, there's a click for others, maybe other applications that you have open.
I can see all the screens, but I can't see that particular one for some reason. It's just highlighting. Okay, here's the one. I'm sorry about this.
No worries.
If you have something to say, please carry on while I figure it out in a minute. I'm going to start this and close the other windows.
Well, in the meantime, not sure if maybe the Corona Chamber want to share any of their news, or Ashley has anything else to share in the meantime.
Julie, do you? Okay, I see it now already. I'm going to share it in a minute. Sorry about that, guys.
Oh, there you go. You got it.
Yes. Okay, do you see the presentation mode now?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go to the beginning, I guess. Already. Good afternoon to all, and thank you so much to the Corona Chamber of Commerce, City of Corona, and Ptac for inviting us to share our government contracting experience. CAI has been our company's Combustion Associates, Inc., and we also go by CAI. We have been in Corona since the early 90s, and I have lived here in Corona since 1996. So our ties with the city run really deep, and we love being here in Corona, a really thriving location, as Jessica mentioned previously. So I'll first go ahead and give you a little bit of an overview of our company. It will be really quick, just to give you an idea what it is that we do and what markets do we play in. So here we go. So CAI has been in the business for more than 30 years. We are, of course, headquartered here in Corona. And we have two major divisions, power and process. In the power division, we build power generators that are in size. Each unit is of the size of 1 megawatt all the way up to 16 megawatt. And we have 140 megawatt of installed power generation systems around the world. We also build industrial process systems in our process division. And we have completed projects in 30 plus countries. We are a small woman-owned business, and we are export-centric. Our core capabilities include several things from the get-go till the delivery and after service. So in a way, we are a one-stop shop for many industries. We do engineering, manufacturing, or assembling of the equipment, integration into the site of the customer. We also do factory acceptance testing, field installation, testing, commissioning, project management, operations, and maintenance. So from engineering all the way up to after service is something that we can handle in-house. The industries that we usually operate in is for our power generation systems. We do oil and gas. Our power generators are installed in oil drilling and refineries. They can also be installed in large-scale industrial facilities, as well as to generate power for utilities, and also in places such as large commercial parks and campuses, college campuses, etc. This is our facility on Railroad Street, off of Railroad Street actually in Corona, and we have a 40,000 square foot workshop where we actually build and assemble our systems. A quick look at the power generation systems. This is more visual than verbal. This is one of our largest projects. It is built in the West African country of Benin. And this is an 80 megawatt power plant. What you see here is 8 units of our 10 megawatt systems. This is a complete power plant that we built. And this is a rendering of our 2 megawatt power generation system. Process division, the equipment that we build in the process division, that is what we actually sell to the government. We have had success with industrial process systems rather than power generators. As far as government contracting goes, we've had more success with this. These are all industrial systems that are called auxiliary systems, meaning they support the main function of an industrial facility. So there would be something like lube oil systems or fuel conditioning. You have to condition the gas sometimes so that it can be run through either power generators or other equipment that the customer may have at site. Also, other names could be pressure regulating system or ammonia vaporizing system. So this is just to give you a visual perspective of the kind of work that we do. Here are some more systems. Industrial process systems. Most of the systems that we build, everything, almost 95% of the items that we build are all custom built items. We don't ever have any of these items in stock. We start building them only after we receive the order because they have to conform to very specific parameters that the customer may have. And that is one of our unique features. So even for government contracting, since we are starting that now, having given you an overview of our company and the markets that we perform in, these are the contracts that we have won over the years from different entities. As you can see in the agencies column, we have had Army, Air Force, US Embassy, Navy, Air Force, Navy. So these are the ones that we have won. And all of these are extremely custom-made items you will see in the subsequent slides. We started actually contracting with the government, meaning we won our first contract, of course, in 2004 or 2005. So that's when we started, and we have persisted over the years. This is the first contract that we received. These are water heaters. They are portable for the US Army to use in the field when they are, in the field, as I said. And it's to warm up water, of course. And we built 845 of these units in our Corona workshop between 2005 and 2010. So we started looking at government opportunities in the early 2000s when our business started to slow down a little bit with public and private entities. And it took us a long time, about 8 to 10 months, to get trained into what it is that we should be looking for in the solicitations. What are the portals that post all of these solicitations through which we can sift? And of course, it's an ocean out there. So how should we be sifting through them? It took us quite a few months to actually understand and learn all of that. Sorry. These are some of the other items that we supplied to the government. These are fuel storage tanks that went to the US Embassy in Togo, another African country. These are H2N2 purge enclosures. These enclosures are used at an industrial site for personnel to take shelter from a process that may release some hazardous materials. So they would sit in here and remain safe. And these are other industrial equipment that we supplied to the government, BB3 pumps to the Air Force, 3 units of them in 2018. And on the left is the recirculation skid, and on the right are the environmental skids. All of these are skid-based, portable, mobile. These went to a naval shipyard in Washington State. How did we start preparing? What did we do? So in around 2016 or so, we were already doing government contracting since the early 2000s, meaning we were trying to win contracts, and we had some success along the way. But again, in 2016, I was given the charge of daily looking at FedBizOps, the government website that posted all the solicitations of all the government agencies. I was put in charge, the company put me in charge of it, and I had to learn everything about it from scratch. So of course, I knocked on the door of Ptac and found wonderful guidance, wonderful teachers in Chad Baumer, who previously worked as a procurement specialist, in Julie, and later on also Susie. We have sought help from all of them and found wonderful guidance. So Julie was talking about the capability statement, and she also showed you a picture of the 2-pager. She showed them to us too, and we followed them. This is the most current version that we have of it. A 2-pager capability statement comes in very handy when you talk with any government agency. It's very useful when you're doing some kind of cold calling with government agencies and presenting your capabilities rather than a full PowerPoint presentation. This handy dandy 2-pager goes a long way. So we prepared our capability statement, focused it completely on government opportunities with all the NAICS codes, the awards that we have won, and our capabilities, our cage codes, and also photos and so short description of the projects that we have won in the past. Just to go back to the heaters that we manufactured, the 845 heaters that we manufactured for the US Army, our company was awarded a Vendor Excellence Award by the DoD for on-time delivery and excellent quality of work. So I just wanted to mention that as well. We identified the list of government entities, both federal and local, that we thought would be able to utilize the kind of equipment that we built. So far, we've had success only with federal government agencies. How did we continue to win projects or contracts over the years? So this is like an outline of the system that we usually follow. We go on to procurement portals daily, which is my job to do. All of it is now consolidated on sam.gov, so that makes it easier. Especially, we look at the set-asides also, since we are a woman-owned small business. We feel that we have a better chance if we look at solicitations that are under those set-asides, and those are also something that we can build to a good degree of quality. Then we go ahead and we bid on those. And we have also registered on the site of agencies such as Jefferson Lab, for example, to receive notification if they put out an RFQ for products that we could manufacture. So we receive that information in our emails. Then we go ahead and, I look through those lists. Actually, the bid match list that Julie mentioned, Ptac helped us to prepare that list based on the keywords and the NAICS code and other relevant codes that we compiled for them. And so every day I receive that list in my email. I'm going to show that to you in the next slide, the kind of list that I receive. And I go through it and ask the questions such as, can we build this system? Do we have the know-how or the capability? And can we meet the timeline? And can we meet the quality requirements? And what are the chances of our being competitive? So these are the questions that our technical team debates and decides whether to bid on the proposal. But I go ahead and shortlist the items that I believe would be suitable for us and send it over to our technical team to make a decision on them. Once we submit the proposals, we also maintain communication throughout the process of actually preparing the proposal till the due date. We have contact with the contracting officers. We invite them to ask us questions. We ask them questions if our technical team has any. So it's like a two-way process. Usually their questions will come after we have submitted our proposal. And through this communication, we try to impress upon them our capabilities and experience, and also our willingness to work with their staff and within their framework. We also research past awards for similar projects and try to quote our price accordingly, but it may not always be possible, but at least we remain aware of what is the ballpark range that our pricing needs to fall into. Once we build the equipment and deliver it in a timely manner, this is really very important because it helps build trust and reputation. And the same goes for after service. Once the equipment is installed and used for a week, 2 weeks, a couple of months, and if there is any issue with manufacturing and functionality, then we step in to rectify those errors and make sure that it functions well for the customer. Speaking of cold calling, we also from time to time make phone calls and do in-person meetings to small business offices of different government entities. We present our capabilities in the form of PowerPoints or the two-pager, and we also attend webinars, seminars, and meet the buyer type of events. Throughout and at all times, we feel like Ptac has our back. And we consider them a tremendous resource. They've helped us every step along the way, making our lives so much easier and finding, appropriate opportunities to bid on, and also helping us with some of the difficult aspects of it. So, they helped us with preparing the capability statement, and they've answered our questions relating to accessing technical documents from government portals, understanding certain types of reps and certs, FARs and DFARs, which I find the most complicated, enhancing our profile on SAM, acquainting us with certain very, very useful website tools such as federal supply codes and federal procurement data system, contract performance assessment reporting systems. All of these are great resources to do your market research and then base your offers to the government entities on them. These are very useful. We've also sought their help once in filing a protest when our bid was considered non-responsive. And our staff members, including myself, as I mentioned before, we have attended classes offered by Ptac. So here is that bid match list that I get in my email every single day. Based on the keywords and the NAICS code that we have supplied, and Ptac has set it up for us. These are also the list of websites on the right where it says Federal Government Contracting Tools. This entire list was given to us by a Ptac procurement specialist, and we refer to them all the time, and they help us a lot. Just a few tips on best practices. Based on our experience, first lay the groundwork, then search and submit quotes. Assign a person in your company to daily review the bid match list that Ptac can set up for you for relevant opportunities. Research and understand how to research for opportunities that directly pertain to your products and services. It's an ocean out there, and any small business can get lost, I know. I have struggled with it in the initial years. And if you're not focused, you could spend a tremendous amount of time looking for opportunities. And of course, when you're lost, call Ptac. And also remember that you win some, you lose some. And it's a game that you need to stick to be able to be successful in. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Preti, for that information. Those are great points. Thank you for sharing that information with our attendees. And always it's a pleasure to assist you on government contract.
Thank you.
I'm gonna hand it over back to Anthony.
Yep. So I just wanted to add on, if you guys have any other questions right now for any of the speakers, either Julie or Priti, or even the city, please either put those in the chat or get yourselves off mute and ask away.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
What if you have a business that's kind of a niche business? It's really kind of a different type of business. And I don't know if the federal government would be able to have a use for that type of business.
Well, the government, they buy everything. It's very rare that we can find something that probably they don't buy, but maybe they don't buy it that often, but they do buy it. So that's information we can get out of the market research. Once we can sit with you and kind of go over what you offer, we can do research on previous awards or contract awards to determine if they're buying those type of product services. Now, if we are talking about developing new products for the government, another option for you could be a different type of contract/grant, which is the SBIR. So that's another area that we can look at. But we will kind of determine that once we meet with you, we can learn more about your business.
Any other questions? There is one in the chat. How do we submit bids?
Okay, so there's not one straight short answer for that. I will say that mostly, I would say almost 100% of all of the bids opportunities that are out there, there's a section that they have instructions in how to submit an offer. And again, you will have to learn what type of procurement, because it's also what type of procurement you're looking at. When you say bids, at least in the federal government, those are invitation for bids, those are only for prices. So it has a different specific information you will be provided. So we will have to look exactly at the opportunity that you want to pursue, and then we can assist you in how to respond to that offer. I hope that makes sense.
Well, I can add something, which definitely has something to do with we can assist because yes, they're all different, and we also read them and we review and we look for the information that we think is important for you to notice, so that, and sometimes our clients send it over to us and say, and may ask a question even before, if they decide that we're going to go forward and possibly bid on it, just because it can be so confusing. So we're always here to review the solicitation. If you give us the solicitation, sometimes we can't access them directly because we don't have accounts with certain platforms. So you can send it to us, we can look at it. Oftentimes we're going to look for the requirements first. So as long as you can meet requirements, then we can talk about, can you perform on this, and let's, you know, and we're here every step of the way. So that's just a little more info on something that doesn't have a direct answer. Yeah.
Thank you, Susie. And then we also got a few more questions in the chat, particularly about if they do have a product that is in high demand. What can they do to contact the government to offer that service or that product?
Okay, so again, it's just there's not just a simple answer for that, because it's broad, right? As I mentioned at the beginning, are we talking about federal government, state, local? I mean, which entity are we talking about? So what I suggest is that you have to find out that target agency, right? Who's buying those type of products. And whenever you're gonna approach them, as I mentioned before, have that capability statement that describe your business, your products, your past performance, and then you can promote your business to that specific agency. And how do you get those contacts? You can get it from different sources. Probably if you identify previous purchase, you can see who the contracting officer was, and you can get over there a contact.
Any other questions?
I love that there's a lot of interest in learning more about government contracts. So what I suggest too is just come to our next webinar that we're going to talk a little bit more about government contracting, and then we have our final, event that is what it will take place next year. So we hope that at the end of that, you already kind of have a really good knowledge in how to get those government contracts. In the meantime, also, you can contact us. We can help you and work with you on a one-on-one meeting. So that way, you can start in the process.
As previously mentioned as well, the city does have a website as far as how to do business with the city of Corona specifically. Again, that purchasing details that Amanda provided earlier in the presentation. So again, a great tool. Absolutely reach out to Ptac. Even if you are applying to the city, they have a great toolkit as far as how they can make these projects happen. But again, looking at that city process, the individual level, especially when you're talking about different types of products, different types of skills, and as far as what kind of equipment is produced, again, reach out to our purchasing department if you have any questions, because they can make sure to clarify anything that you have.
Thank you, Ashley. And thank you to all of our presenters here and speakers here today. Ptac, CAI, we have been, it's a really good informative session. And like Julie mentioned, this is part 1 in a 3-part series. Part 2 will dive a little bit more in depth, and then part 3 is where everything kind of wraps up. So be sure to check back on November 4th. That will be our 2nd part of this series, and you will be getting information on that as the date gets closer. So I want to say thank you to everybody again, and have a great day.
Thank you very much.